When you ask what keeps me in that state, that would be my answer.
Yeah.
You probably know this, but the word spirit comes from Latin, which is spiritus, which means breath.
Breath, yeah.
And for me, the breath is a huge anchor. It's both in movement and in meditation. And I always say that the breath is really a language where you can talk to your body with.
Welcome to the Better Man Podcast with Ivan and Sumehd. This podcast is all about how to be an optimal, conscious male in today's society. Join Ivan and Sumehd as they go deep into the rabbit hole of personal growth, mindset, social dynamics, and spirituality. Are you ready to be a better man?
And we are live.
Yo, what's up, world? Welcome back to the Better Man Podcast.
What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. Hope it's splendid wherever you are in the world right now.
Splendid, goddammit.
Splendid.
We don't want that good shit. We don't want that. How you doing? Okay. I want to hear you say, I'm fucking magnificent. I'm fucking magnificent.
That's the affirmations. That's it.
I just imagine like a baby in a diaper, right? And he's got like a spoon on one hand. It's just like a big wood spoon, and he's like, I'm fucking amazing, man. I'm fully accelerated. I fucking love cocaine. Just like a little baby.
Whatever. Hype today.
Yo, what's the affirmation for today?
The affirmation for today is I allow myself to fully feel this present moment.
Oh, bro. Oh, bro, I'm having like a soulgasm, bro.
Soulgasm. That's hashtag that, guys, if you can.
Oh. Ari, what did you feel whenever he said that?
Yeah. I don't know if it's a soulgasm, but it definitely
Oh man, you're missing out, bro. We're gonna get you here. We're gonna do some spiritual work.
Yeah, man, I would love to come to India and do some spiritual work.
Yo, everybody right here on the other side, you will not guess who it is because this person has been kept a secret from you up until this point.
Up until now. Yeah.
The universe is about to reveal to you Ari J, the holistic performance coach. Woo! Clap. Fucking clap. Hell yeah. Listen, everybody, introduce yourself, please.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Very, very happy to be here. Man and Ivan, thank you so much for having me. I'm very, very happy to talk to you guys and to share whatever it is that will come up in this conversation. And yeah, it's an honor.
Oh.
So, holistic practitioner. What does the word holistic mean to you, man?
Well, holistic for me, it means basically the ability to look at the human system in a wide angle. So in a more of a not in a tubular vision, but in more of a broad range vision. I believe that I always give the example of a horse. So if you and me, if all three of us bought a horse, yeah?
Nice. Yeah.
So we all paid like $3. The horse cost $9. It was probably a pretty shitty horse, but it's a $9 horse, and we each bought a third of the horse. It's not like I own the head, you own the torso, and you own the legs, right? We all own every part of the horse. So in that sense, everything that our body does is a mind, body, soul kind of thing. I always say that the mind, the body, and the soul they're the physical manifestations of the physical, the spiritual, and the mental on this planet. And anything that you do, whether it's a bicep curl or whether you're reading a book or whether you're meditating, it's all a mind, body, soul kind of thing. It all has a certain involvement of these three elements within it. So when I say holistic, I treat my athletes exactly in that way. And one of the things that I noticed that is lacking with a lot of coaches, I'm not trying to say anything bad about coaches, but I noticed that a lot of coaches, they really treat the physical element a lot. And some of them treat the mental element as well, you know, when they say like biohacking or use this or that supplement to focus or whatever, they're not addressing the spiritual. And I mean, it's not a hippie thing. The spiritual is actually there. You know, it's there. It's where you derive everything that is abstract, you know, meaning and passion, and that could, you know, carry over to the physical easy.
Totally, man. I know what you mean. It's like I've watched certain athletes with that much more spirit in themselves. And I totally get that, like that feeling of like, you had something connected to like some kind of a forward momentum or a passion or a feeling or a glow almost. Like,
you know, somebody who you could easily spot, like Cristiano Ronaldo. Like this guy's recognized all over for his glow when he plays soccer, football, right? And actually, these people have an energetic level that's higher than other players in the game. Like if you literally just think about it from like a pure logical, like to me, like spirituality is logical, right? So you can clearly see that there's something different. What's the difference? Energy level. His consciousness level is different. He literally has to have a greater consciousness to be better than all the other players there. And these players are top guys.
Yeah.
God damn it. So beautiful.
There has to be a certain mindset to an athlete to become better than others. I mean, obviously, I think there are some athletes who are victims of the circumstances in a way.
Like who?
Really, I can't give any names right now. I can't really come up with names. But, you know, I really think that
maybe two names? No names?
What's that?
No names?
I can give you names of people who are definitely, like, you can see that they're better and they definitely have a spiritual aspect to them. Like, you can look at someone like Michael Jordan. You can look at someone like a lot of the MMA fighters, actually, like the really good ones.
Really?
Rickson Gracie, man. The guy is like, if you look at Rickson Gracie, the guy is arguably one of the best BJJ fighters in the history of BJJ fighters. And he is a lot into yoga and pranayama and breathing and spirituality and meditation. And that guy, he has a certain, like you said, a certain level of consciousness that is above others. And I think that this is kind of like, it opens the pathway for excellence. I think that an athlete cannot really be the best or cannot really be in the top 10 or the top 5 unless they have this approach or someone who guides them in this approach. That's where good coaches come in mind, you know. People like, you know, Charlie Francis, that guy, I don't think he called it spirituality, but if you read any of his books, the guy coached Ben Johnson in '89 Seoul Olympics. If you read any of his books, the guy's like incredible. He writes so much about spirituality and discipline and things that are not of the sport. Like, you know, you would read them and you're like, what's the connection between this and sport? But once you read from Charlie Francis, you know exactly what's the connection. And yeah.
Totally. Awesome, man. So
I got like lost in that statement. like the statement went to me, and I was like not listening to it, but feeling it.
Yeah, man, that's where it resonated with your soul, you know, holistic, mind, body, soul thing, you know.
That's where it resonated with you, man. With your soul.
It's just, to me, it's like, I don't know. I think it's just, I feel weird about it right now. Not weird, but like, as in, I literally didn't hear it. Like, I literally did not hear it. I only like experienced it through a feeling. Oh my God, son of a bitch, bro. It was a fucking feeling. That's why for me, I feel like blending in the masculine and the feminine has so much to do with having that within yourself. Like, yo, I need to bring more feminine energy into this, into myself. Like, be like no homo, no homo, bro. I gotta have some more feminine energy inside of me.
Well, if you look at the chakra system in your body, so one of the most interesting things I came to realize is that you have the feminine and the masculine in the universe all the time. So in life, you have our father, the cosmos, right, the sky, and that is pure masculine energy. So the universe, in a sense, is a masculine presence, and you have the earth, Mother Earth, which is a feminine presence, and this is the energy of life itself, right? And it's a combination.
I just got a download right there when you said that, because it reminds me of David Data's The Superior Way of the Superior Man, when he states the fact that that men would like freedom and women would like love, and love is the earth, and the cosmos just like this freedom. It's just like all expensive.
Man, these are ancient concepts, these are ancient concepts that we have our father, the sky, and our mother, the earth. And when you connect with the mother, you do feel the femininity. When you connect with the universe, you do feel the masculinity. And the most interesting thing that I found is that, the upper chakras, they're more intellectual, and intellect in a sense is masculine, right? Yeah. And the lower chakras, they're more feminine, the sex chakra, the root chakra. They're more earthy. They're more, sex. Like this whole thing is very, very feminine in itself, because it's life, and they all come to pass within your heart chakra. That's where they connect. The heart chakra is completely neutral, because the heart chakra is masculine and the feminine. It is the yin and the yang. It is giving love and receiving love, which is both feminine. It's both masculine and feminine. Sorry, and yeah.
That's wonderful, man. Yeah. So there's a lot of myths and different things in the fitness industry that really don't align, or I wouldn't say wouldn't align, but they're just different perspectives of looking at it. Like, some people think of like performance enhancing drugs. Some people, they go this other route in terms of like coaches who are just simply not giving people the results that they require, but they're just giving them sort of a few like tips or whatever. In your personal experience, what has been the biggest myths in terms of the fitness industry?
The biggest myths?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at Ivan. He's in a completely different place right now.
He's on his own planet right now.
What I was doing?
Well, it's really hard to point out.
It's gonna be if I just sit like this. Like if I just like sit like this, how is my experience of life gonna be? And I just started doing it. Like,
yeah, it's a different asana, isn't it? Different posture.
Oh my gosh, so true.
Yeah, look, in regard to your question, I think it's a really broad question to ask. I mean, there's just a lot of myths that are happening right now,
let's say the top ones. Let's say the top myths that are out there. What are some of those, and because we want to break these myths to help people believe like, okay, fitness is actually like, something attainable, and it isn't something that is, portrayed in a specific way, in a specific kind of conditioning that it seems outside of the realm of my possibility or whatever,
Well, I think that virtually anything is within the realm of possibilities. Yeah. And the only way to make it possible is like, okay, here's one. We think that we expect, as human beings, we expect results to come overnight. We expect a magic pill. We always do. We see it in movies. We see it in books. We see it on Instagram today. We see a person on Instagram who's like extremely ripped or something, and we're like, yeah, I want to be like that guy. No one sees the 12 years before he was on Instagram completely ripped. People really expect this magic pill approach. It also comes when you go to doctor, I have a pain, yeah, here's a pill, or I have a pain in my foot, yeah, here's a pill. People are looking for
magic pill mentality, bro. Yes, I completely agree with you on that one. Yeah.
The magic bullet mentality also goes for the fitness industry. That's why a lot of people take steroids, by the way. A lot of beginner athletes take steroids. I think that before you even touch these things, and I'm not completely against steroids, but I think that it's hardly for everyone. And it should be once it's taken, it should be under very, very careful consideration. And only after you've came to your limits without it. And that is a very, very far line, to get to your limits without it. And the thing is that what people really should understand when it comes to anything is that you need the repetition and you need the time for everything.
I got it.
Everything. Yeah.
Yo, so I was actually having a question about veganism, right? Because you're like a vegan coach, yes?
No.
No, you're not vegan? Oh, because it just seems like you promote a lot of anti-animal products on your page.
Yes.
So you just don't want to go by the title vegan. You're just anti-killing animal.
Well, I eat animals, and I'm not anti-killing animals. It's just that I was vegan for a while until I've kind of searched within my own soul and within my own books and within a lot of stuff like that, and I found that it's not the answer, both when it comes to morality and when it comes to sustainability. It's just not the answer. And it's definitely not the answer if you want to optimize your performance. There's this recent storm with the whole, what's that movie called? The Game Changers, that people are completely stoked about. I don't know if you've heard about it or not. It's this movie that they made by James Cameron made it. Big names are involved in it, where they show a lot of athletes who became vegan or are vegan and are really good at what they do. And they give a lot of studies about how meat is bad, et cetera, et cetera. And the whole movie is just based on partial evidence and selective cherry picking of studies. And it's just really wonderfully done. It's wonderfully done, but it does not present correct arguments.
What? What do you think? You think actually you perform better if you eat meat? You say?
Hands down. Yeah. I mean, you can be vegan
because of what? Because of what? That's what I'm wondering. Because of what?
I think it's a thing called Heme in the iron, right? That's one of.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Is that it?
Well, there are a lot of reasons. It's not necessarily meat per se, but meat is a huge. I'll just so we won't get into a 2-hour conversation about this. I'll just tell you that when I was a vegan, let's just take my personal experience for it, and a lot of other athletes that I know. Okay, but look, let's just say that when you're a vegan, you need to have your diet perfect because there's so many nutrients that you are missing as a result of not eating animal products. And when I'm talking about animal products, of course, you have to be very selective in the animal products that you take. And this is also why I promote a lot of anti-animal killing stuff, because the way that we human beings are consuming meat and consuming animal products is fucking horrible. These death camps that we call farms, and the way that we treat
concentration camps for poultry animals.
Exactly that. It's exactly that, man.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. It's concentration camps for animals. I can tell you why it's not healthy to eat from these, and we can break down the health argument and the ethical argument. I mean, the ethical argument, I think it's obvious. I mean, I believe that animals are our neighbors and not our slaves. And we should treat them as such. I mean, we're all fruits of this tree called Earth. You know, the animals are here and we are here.
Yeah, we're all fruits. We're the fruits. That's an interesting way of like, I don't know. I just pictured humans coming out of trees, you know, yeah, like a human tree, literally, bro. That was really beautiful, honestly.
Yeah, man. Take enough LSD and you'll really feel it.
Yeah, I've done LSD before. I've done it twice. I liked it each time.
Yeah.
Towards the end, though, it always gets sad for me, at least. Like existential.
Yeah, it's always common when you're coming down off of something amazing, like a peak experience or a great trip. Speaking of peak experiences, man, I really want to discuss a little bit about the flow state with you, because I know that, you know, we have a common link there. We're both peak performance coaches. And what are you doing? So my question to you is, what gets you most into the flow state in terms of yourself or when you're training someone else? And how do you sustain it and induce it for a longer period of time? Because it is a temporary state. And I know we specifically have a similar common link here in terms of presence. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that. What do you feel like gets you most in flow, and what helps you to induce it and sustain it for a longer period of time?
So as for the first question, it's a combination of random turn of events and also intentional turns of events. And I can quantify that into inspiration. So when I'm very, very inspired by either myself, my actions, my clients, or a certain moment or whatever, and it could be anything really. Like, I mean, I remember this one time I was coaching a client and we were at the track field, and I just saw this like little kid, just like year-old kid, just running and laughing, and it fucking brought me to tears, man. I don't know why, but it did. And then I felt very, very inspired and very, very in the moment, and the coaching session was beautiful. So I guess inspiration is something that really brings you into that flow state. So whether it's inspiration from others or for the moment or from yourself or I don't know, like whatever it is, inspiration.
That word is so important to me, man, because I even have it tattooed on myself, because honestly, the word inspire means in spirit, and it also is a reminder, and it also a reminder to breathe, like inspire. So it's just been like one of those things that just really like I keep coming back to. So it's wonderful to hear that you have that similar feeling of inspiration during the flow state. Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned breath, because when you ask what keeps me in that state, that would be my answer.
Yeah.
You probably know this, but the word spirit comes from Latin, which is spiritus, which means breath.
Breath, yeah.
And for me, the breath is a huge anchor. You know, it's both in movement and in meditation. And I always say that the breath is really a language where you can talk to your body with.
Wow, bro. That's wild as fuck.
He's having some downloads right now. Like, what? It's a language. Like translate breath into.
I've never.
Yeah, I mean, think about it for a second. If you're like stressed, yeah. So if you tell yourself, if I'm stressed and I tell myself, "Oh, Ari, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. And that's never gonna fucking work, right? I mean, it's just me talking to myself in English. My body doesn't know English. Like, and if I breathe deeply and calmly, then I get calmed down, right? It activates parasympathetic processes in the body. It relaxes the body. It relaxes muscle tissue. I can really speak to my body like that. And hey, man, try to power clean 100-kilo barbell while inhaling. You cannot fucking do that. You cannot. Try to jump really high by breathing like, it's not going to happen. You know, there's by breathing, you're telling your body, I want you to do this, or I'm asking you to do this more. Like that. In meditation, every time you lose track of you go back to the breath, because it's the anchor, because it centers you. And I found the breath to be a huge tool to know, and a huge tool to use in life, both as an athlete and as a human being.
That's awesome, man. I really like that. So you're communicating with your body using your breath.
For sure. And it's one of the first things I teach my athletes. Like, I don't have an athlete that I start coaching without teaching them about breath first. Because if my athlete does not know how to breathe, their whole movement is going to be off, and their whole,
that's so fucking right.
Yeah.
I know I've tried to do fucking those. God, I haven't even been into a gym in such a long time. A barbell. And like, if you fuck up the breath, you end up with the barbell like by your neck, and you're like, hey, yo, somebody, yo, bro, can you help me? Can you help me? Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Most definitely.
Yo, that question that we had about the fucking exercises to grow your dick. Bro, we need those, man.
I don't have exercises to grow your dick, but I do have dick exercises. Be happy with what you got, man. This is how God created you, This is how He meant you to be.
No, it's because I want my dick to have abs, though.
Have you ever heard of Kegels?
Kegels?
Yeah, Kegels.
Yeah. No, what the heck? It sounds like crab shoes.
Basically, it's like Sadhguru when he says clench your
your anus.
Yeah. Your PC muscles, they call it.
Yeah.
Right.
This is how you can get to stuff like multiple orgasms as a man. This is how you can get to like a lot of cool tricks as a man. David Data wrote a lot.
What do you mean by multiple orgasms? Like you can keep going after you had the second orgasm? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, I see. I see what you mean.
So in terms of talking about the man, I think one important element is the hormone testosterone. What are some of the things that help to raise testosterone in terms of foods or exercises that people can do?
Okay. Well, one thing, first of all, is to understand the need of the body to adapt. So the human system is an adaptive system. So whatever condition you put the human body under, it will adapt.
Fuck yeah.
And
let's get hit.
So, for example, if you're requiring the body to do things that require things like aggression or explosive strength, or heaps of strength, right, or muscle mass, that will cause the body to produce more testosterone, because testosterone is the prime hormone that is responsible for muscle mass. It helps for qualities like aggression, and so when you're doing a lot of exercises that are, I call it big exercises, so kind of like if you're talking about deadlifts or squats or bench presses or power cleans, snatches. These are things like the really big exercises. These are ones that really supports testosterone growth. When it comes to foods, I'm not really sure which foods directly support testosterone growth, but there are a bunch of like natural supplements that you can take that has been shown by studies that could potentially promote testosterone growth. Stuff like ashwagandha or Korean ginseng.
I use that. I actually use that. Yeah.
That's a herb.
Yeah, tribulus fruit.
ASHWA.
Ashwa.
Yeah.
Ashwagandha.
GANDHA maybe.
HA. Okay, cool. For the
No,
viewers,
not HA. Maybe just with an A at the end.
all right. If you're trying to Google search this, I think just type whatever, stuff will pop up.
Yeah,
It's really
actually,
good,
there's
It-
if you're really interested to see about really anything, there's a website called examine.com, and you can really, it's this wonderful dude. He I don't know where he has the time, but he really takes almost every compound that is out there, and he sums up all of the modern studies that are made on it, and then he sums it up in like certain points that are really dumbed down for the public. So, for example, if you want to learn about ashwagandha, you go there, you search ashwagandha, and then he tells you, okay, studies today shows this, this, and this. So, in connection to testosterone growth, here's the connection. This is what they say. In terms of like strength gains, here is what they say. And he does it really well. And then he even gives you like instructions on how to consume it, and it's from everything up to like BCAAs and up to like protein powders or even like, omega-3s or just like really, really anything.
That's awesome, man. That's a great resource for our audience right now. So that's examine.com, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Awesome. That's great.
Yo, do you have any preferred breathing exercises? Like something that we can do right now for like the viewers who are sitting at home, watching or listening on Spotify, Google Podcasts. Like what's like an exercise like that they're just chilling, like a breathing exercise that you could do with them?
So one that I really like to recommend is something I call 4-6-8 breath. And it is basically you want to inhale for 4 seconds from your nose, obviously, and you want 2/3 of your breath to come into your lower thoracic abdomen. So your lower thoracic area. So it's the abs, the abdomen, and the lower thorax, kind of like under your nipples. And then the last third of the breath should come into the chest. So you're breathing in for 4 seconds from your nose. You hold the air in for 6. And then you release it out through the mouth for 8. It's a technique that was used by, I don't know, some like Tibetan monks, I think.
Tibetan monks.
I have used this method before, but something that you explained was that let me see if I got this right. So you breathe like 1/3 into each. Into like the stomach, and then the middle abdomen, and then the higher abdomen, the like chest area. Is that what you're saying?
You want to imagine that the first 2/3 of the breath are kind of like bypassing your lungs, quote unquote, bypassing your lungs, go into your belly straight, and then the last third goes into the chest.
So just 2/3 of it into your belly, and then you finish it. You finish the rest with the top.
Yeah.
All right, we can try that out, guys. So get into a relaxed position. Is it important where your hands are, Ari?
Not really.
Okay.
Like it really helps, by the way, if you're not used to it and you have no control over your diaphragm. So a lot of times it will be weird to try it out if you've never tried it before. So one thing that helps is to put one hand on the belly and another hand on the chest. And then the first 2/3 of the breath, just to try and make sure that the hand that is on the chest does not go up. It stays in place. And that the hand that is on the belly, kind of like imagine that you want to push the hand that is on the belly when you breathe in.
Yeah.
All right. You want to guide us through this, please?
All right. So put one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. You can close your eyes or not. Closing your eyes actually helps to connect with your body. And I want you to also put your tongue on the top of your mouth.
Mewing squad. All right.
And take a big breath in from your nose. Imagine that you want to bypass your lungs. Don't expand your thorax. So don't raise your shoulders up. Keep your shoulders down and keep your chest down. Long breath from your nose. Then hold the air in. And when you hold the air, just let it linger there. Don't do, just let it linger there for about 6 seconds. And after 6 seconds, just exhale like from the mouth, kind of like you're doing bubbles in chocolate milk. And as you let it out, try to first bring in the belly and finally the chest. then repeat that for a couple of times.
I love the imagery of the chocolate milk bubbles. I think that really helps.
Bro, I've never heard of that before. Yeah. Literally, I think it's funny that it's like.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things about being, a coach that deals with spirituality and works with athletes and stuff like that is that there's a lot of people who have never experienced this kind of practice before. And your cueing needs to be very, very accurate. Like you want to, one of the people who I define as one of my mentors, he's always said that a coach is really like an artist, because an artist, one of the, like in certain brands of art, the artist creates an image, for example, like a statue or an image or a sculpture or whatever, and he means something by this sculpture. And then someone else looks at the sculpture, and if he gets the same thing, then the artist did his job well, in a way. So the same thing goes with kind of like with coaches, right? I mean, if a coach tries to show a movement or a practice to a coachee, and the guy has no idea what the coach is talking about, the coach needs to create a certain mental image or a certain artwork that will resonate with this person's understanding. And then there's all of these cueings, and that's where cueing gets into practice, and it's very, very important to know how to do that. So
cueing,
yeah,
like standing in line in London. No, honestly, I don't know what you mean though. I know it's not that, but I don't know what you mean.
When I tell you take the air out from your mouth and kind of do like you're doing bubbles in a chocolate milk, that's a form of cueing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If I teach someone to do a squat and I tell them go down very, very, very easily and now as you do that, keep your chest out and your shoulders down. This is cueing.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I teach a lot of breath work to my clients, and I always use imagery to describe it. I'm like, take an ice cream scoop from the bottom of the belly and like bring it, hold it up like a Pokeball, and then then I tell them like, imagine the air is like the pressure that's coming out of a tire. Like, so it's similar to that it's just like, it really helps to have visualization during any kind of breath work or any kind of even practice that you do. Have you found that visualization has helped you in terms of your fitness journey or in terms of your coaching journey?
Have I found a visualization
helpful? Yeah.
Bro, yes. Yes, obviously.
I mean, in what ways have you found visualization helpful? Like, can you remember any times in your coaching journey or your fitness journey that it's been beneficial to you to visualize in that time?
Oh, for sure. Like a lot of times, you understand something about, for example, about movement. I don't know, you understand anything, you have an insight about movement. And then you kind of think to yourself, okay, how do I articulate that to a person? Because you feel it. And then you think, how do I translate this emotion that is amorphic into words that actually make sense? And this is where visualization come into mind, because I think to myself, okay, what does it feel like? What does it look like? How can I articulate that to someone? And I think I always find that if you understand something that is very, very meaningful and you can articulate that in a very coherent way, then people understand it and people resonate with it, and it also inspires people towards movement. Like I remember specifically with the breath, I had one client, she was a psychotherapist, and I was kind of like working with her for about like 3 months, and we were always talking about breathing. I told her like exhale here, inhale here. And then this one workout session, I don't remember in which exercise, but like I told her something and something clicked with her, and it was like and then she sent me kind of a message like later, what, this completely changed my life right now. This completely changed the way I see movement. This completely changed the way I see exercise and
That's awesome. Yeah.
yeah, that's a lot of the power of visualization when you can create this image in a client or with an athlete.
What would you say is like a good, like a simple workout routine that someone can follow to have results? You know, would you say it's working full body one day and then lower body the next day and then like upper body and then full body, or some sort of like circuit of days? You know what I mean?
I do. And it really depends on what your aims are, in a sense. But so in that sense, like giving one direction to everyone would be irresponsible and a bit incorrect. But if you would have told me, I mean, it's a complicated question, but a good tip would be to always stick to the basics, like to always stick to the basic exercises, stick to the classic ones.
Yeah, that's actually really good, honestly. Never thought about that before, but true.
Of course it changes. Of course it changes in your goals, because if you want to be a basketball player and I'll tell you, okay, do squat, deadlift, bench every day for 5 days a week, that's completely stupid. It just has nothing to do with being a basketball player. It will make you better. There's a law called the law of specificity, which means that whatever it is you train for, this is what you'll have. So if you train for squat, deadlift, and bench, guess what? This is what you will be able to do very well. So really, again, it depends on your goals and what is it you want to do, what is it you want to achieve. And this is where actually, so when you're saying something that everyone can use to get results, I would counter that with a question and say, okay, that's where everyone should ask, why am I doing this? Why am I training? Why the fuck am I going to the gym? Why the hell am I going to the track field? Why the hell would I even want to put myself through this regime of training? Why not sit at home and watch Netflix? And then once you know your why, then you can know your what and your how. I actually wrote now a whole book about asking yourself why as an athlete, and like why should you even do whatever it is that you do, and how to use this tool of asking yourself why to refine your means and to find something that I call emotional fuel, to really dig into your own motives. The minute you can ask why, you can derive everything else from it. So I hope that makes sense. I just finished the book. It's not even edited yet, but it'll be out pretty soon. Doesn't even
awesome, man. Yeah.
Fucking lit.
The audience will be excited for that. So if you do have a link, head over to Ari's page.
Yeah, where can they find you? Where can they find you? Where can they get quick contact with you? They're like, they heard this message and they say, yo, I'm looking for some advice on this. This guy, it sounds like this guy really knows what he's talking about. Where could they get in contact with you?
So first of all, you can find me on Instagram, which is Ari.J Cohen, which is Cohen. So Ari.J Cohen. That's my Instagram, and also my website, which is train-zen.com.
Awesome.
Train-Zen?
Zen.
Train-zen.com.
Minus Zen.
Minus.
I'm sure there's more Zen to it. Addition.
Well, how do you spell Zen?
Z-E-N.
There you go, guys. Boom. You know exactly where to find them. Yo, we're actually coming to the end of this amazing podcast.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would love to let the audience know?
Yeah. What's your final message to these guys?
My final message is actually this. Your life needs to be such a life that is in service. And what do I mean by that? I mean that I think that everything in this universe is fractal. And I think that if you look at a human cell, for example,